You get it? Psst. Hey, you get a review, a thing. I'm up. Time to wake up, you know? Yeah?
Anthony Fantano here, the internet's busiest music nerd. And it's time for a review of the new Isaiah Rashad mixtape EP project, Cilvia demo. This is the latest project from Tennessee rapper Isaiah Rashad, who has recently been elevated to a pretty high level of attention thanks to being courted by Top Dawg Entertainment with artists like Ab-Soul and Schoolboy Q and J-Rock and Kendrick Lamar. This is easily one of the most consistent rap labels or collectives out there, but they are also one of the smallest too. There's not really a lot of room for error here. If TDE adds somebody, it's got to be someone of substance or someone who's legitimately interesting or makes some kind of splash or has a hit or something, or people are going to be a little more weary next time they decide to add an artist to the roster. And TDE is really trying to put a lot of promotion behind this project, not allowing it to get swept under the rug in the same way Rashad's last one did. It was only 4 months ago that we started seeing this stream of new songs and music videos featuring this dude, with songs like I Shot You Down and Soliloquy and R.I.P. Kevin Miller and Ronnie Drake, and it's all built up to the release of this thing. And to be completely honest, I hope that Rashad is using the word demo on this project literally, because I do hope that he comes out with something a little more exciting in the future. On the 14 tracks here with Cilvia demo, Rashad does prove himself to be a really capable rapper. There are moments on this tape where he's really impassioned and intense, like Modest and I Shot You Down and Banana. There are moments here where he's pretty smooth and maybe there's a bit of a melody or a tune to his voice, like on Heavenly Father. There are spots where he's really stone-faced, really serious, like on Soliloquy, and there are moments where he's really subtle and quiet, and maybe his lyrics offer some really sobering truths. For example, the song Tranquility. Rashad does offer a range of emotions on the 14 tracks here, and even though his inflections occasionally remind me of Kendrick Lamar or Schoolboy Q or some of his older influences like Tupac or Outkast or Tribe Called Quest or Souls of Mischief, the influences are never so deafening that they distract away from the quality of the song. I think Rashad is a principled and convincing rapper who sort of finds himself stuck between the reckless bliss of youth and sort of the depression that comes with being conscious of the world's shortcomings. And lyrically, he paints this dichotomy really well on numerous tracks here, and he also approaches subjects like race and culture and a really hard upbringing and substance abuse, depression, being young, but also on the cusp of fatherhood. He's poetic on these topics, he's interesting on these topics. I get a sense that he sort of knows what he's talking about in a sense, but I do think what ruins some of the impact of these songs is that Rashad is on so many nondescript beats, like with the track Webby Flow, with its really smooth bassy instrumentation and very light synthesizers. The title track on here is vaguely jazzy, which is a term I would use to describe many instrumentals here. And there are plenty of tracks here as well with very airy keyboards and pianos bouncing against this incredibly steady beat. The song Modest or Menthol or R.I.P. Kevin Miller, but I do like these tracks, but only because of what Rashad brings to the table lyrically and flow-wise as well. These are some of his most impassioned tracks. I think these songs have some of the stickiest hooks on this entire project too, but the hooks are a totally different story. They tend to be just as hit or miss as the instrumentals. Hooks that are real honest-to-God snoozers that feature either Rashad or another vocalist singing so inconspicuously that you might as well just tune out until the next verse comes around. Like on Webby Flow and Menthol, and to a lesser extent Ronnie Drake, though I do like that track. SZA's very fragile vocals on this song do sort of pull me in, though I do feel that that may not be the case for everybody. And the lyrics on this particular chorus as well aren't exactly all that either, not as memorable or as distinct or as thought-provoking as a chorus on here like Tranquility. A chorus that sort of puts assassins and leaders up against one another as being in this sort of symbiotic relationship with God and Jesus and Brutus and Caesar. And though I do like this track, one of my favorites on here is one of the songs that just kind of cuts the fat just glosses over the choruses and brings a hard beat with a very serious tone, the song Soliloquy. This song is one of the few moments of excitement that I feel that this project brings. There are a lot of songs on this thing that I do think bring sort of a stoned aesthetic, and while sometimes that does lead to Rashad kind of letting go of his inhibitions, being really over the top and energetic, but too often I think the other tracks on this thing are a little middle of the road, which keeps Rashad from digging deeply into a well thought out concept or idea or theme in a song. Rashad keeps hitting me with one surface level expression after another. I think that this project is not hyped enough for a party or feel good atmosphere, but yet it's not thoughtful enough to be dug into that deeply. It sort of hops back and forth between the two a little bit, doing neither incredibly well for that long. I do think the music on here is agreeable, which is going to lead to a lot of people who stumble across this thing liking it, but it's not that gripping for me. I'm feeling a light to decent 6 on this thing. Transition, if you've given this project a listen, what did you think of it? Did you love it? Hate it? Why? What do you think I should review next? Isaiah Rashad, Cilvia demo, forever.